Shake, 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 Bajo and Hex. We're heading to the Pokémon Isles. Here are your costumes.
More?
More? We've got to get tropical.
So many layers, Darren.
Pokémon is back on the 3DS, this time with Sun and Moon. This new adventure takes place amongst the islands of Alola, which is a not-so-subtle play on the real-world islands of Hawaii. Visually, it pops a bit more than X and Y, and it's just as cinematic.
Yes, but where they've added looks, they've lost 3D. The third dimension. The console's stereoscopic 3D only works in about 5% of the game, which is even worse than X and Y. Also, we were playing on a slightly older console, the 3DS XL, and we suffered frame rate drops in fights and longer loading times than we're used to with Pokémon games. But hardware concerns aside, this is a lot of fun.
Affirmative. And that's helped by your ensemble of trusty sidekicks. Most of the way through the game, you're accompanied by Lily and Hao, part rivals, part besties. It feels like you're in the animated show, rather than in the typically lonely Pokémon games.
Yeah, the story is super simple, but there are a few cool twists. And all of this comes together to make the story in Sun and Moon far more engaging than any Pokémon game before it.
Well, Hex, I believe that is helped by the fact that you get a pet robot for the whole game. And that's because your Pokédex is home to the Pokémon Rotom, which brings it to life. Your living dex flies around and offers helpful tips and suggestions on what to do next. Oh, you know how I love a good robot companion.
Yeah, they're okay, but the Pokémon companions are pretty cool too, and there are 3 new starters to pick from. You've got the grass flying owl called Rowlet, the fire kitten called Litten, and the water option, always the best option, is the adorable seal Poplio. Which of course I chose.
Oh, I couldn't go past the kitten, so cute and fiery.
Well, I chose Rowlet because he seems the most intelligent. I even named him Bajo in the hopes that some of his wits would rub off on you.
Huh, thanks Darren, I think. Well anyway, once you've picked your starter, it's time to make a name for yourself. It's still a journey to become the very best. But for the first time in Pokémon history, there are no badges to collect and no gyms to conquer.
Yeah, I know, it's a scary thought. After all, it's been 20 whole years since the original Pokémon games were released. We've spent 2 decades collecting those pins. But as you start making your way across the region, you quickly see they found a pretty cool replacement.
I miss those shiny badges, Hex, but yes, now you need to face the trials of Alola. Across the region's 4 islands, you must work your way through a series of challenges. It gets a bit complicated from here. Why don't you break it down for us, Darren?
Of course. The first thing you'll need to do is take on the island's captains, each of whom has their own trial. This could be something straightforward, like beating up all the grumpy Pokémon in a cave, or something a little more elaborate, like puzzle solving or a minigame. Overcoming a trial earns you a type-based Z crystal from the captain.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Darren, but those Z crystals are awesome. When you give one to a Pokémon which knows moves of the corresponding type, you unlock a Z move, the most powerful attacks in the game. For example, giving a Fire Z crystal to Growlithe allows it to perform Inferno Overdrive, a supercharged flame attack. Devastating.
Oh, quite. But let me continue. Once you have defeated all of the captains on an island, you can then challenge the Big Kahuna in a grand trial, of which there is only one per island. And this is where things are much more familiar. These are just good old-fashioned battles. Trainer versus trainer, Mon versus Mon.
But on top of the trial-based adventure, there are a fair few other new features and tweaks. In Sun and Moon, wild Pokémon are able to call for backup, so in the middle of a fight, they'll summon a friend to help take you down. But really, it just means more XP for my Pokémon and less grinding.
Yeah, which is definitely a good thing. One of the more useful additions in my mind is that you can now tell if a move is going to be effective or not. There are just so many Pokémon types now that I can't keep up, so this really helped a lot.
Oh, affirmative. And there are a lot more shortcuts like these throughout the game, which make everything a bit more streamlined. Gone are the days of the HM. Now you just need to progress through the story far enough and bam! Here's a Lapras for you to ride on whenever you like, or whap! Have a Charizard to fly you across the map. Oh.
This drip feed of rideable Pokémon is a much better way of keeping the player on course. Guys, I know we say this every time, but this game just gets better and better with each release. So I'm giving Sun and Moon 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I'm giving it 4 rubber chickens.
Gotta catch 'em all!